Imagine a single flower bulb trading for more than a grand estate, complete with sprawling gardens and a carriage house. Sounds utterly insane, right? A mere botanical specimen, commanding a king's ransom. Well, it didn't just sound insane, it truly happened. This wasn't some isolated incident of individual folly. It was a societal phenomenon, the world's very first major financial bubble, a chaotic spectacle proving that unchecked irrational exuberance can transmute the simplest, most innocent of things into a full-blown speculative madness. If you're captivated by the strange, the bizarre, and the untold financial stories that defy belief, then you absolutely need to hit that subscribe button right now. You truly won't want to miss the incredible revelations and insights we'll uncover next, delving deep into the hidden corners of market history. Our story begins in the heart of the 17th century, a period known as the Dutch Golden Age. This wasn't just any era. It was a time when the Netherlands stood as a colossal global powerhouse, its coffers overflowing with unprecedented wealth accumulated from intrepid trade routes, daring explorations, and pioneering banking innovations. Cities like Amsterdam and Haarlem bustled with commerce and cultural vibrancy. It was an epoch of immense prosperity, groundbreaking innovation, and, crucially, a rapidly expanding middle class, eager to flaunt its newfound affluence. And in this era of burgeoning wealth, what more exquisite and fitting way to display one's elevated status than with exotic, breathtakingly beautiful flowers? The flower in question, which would soon ignite a national obsession, was the tulip. These elegant tulips, originally hailing from the distant lands of Turkey, had made their way to Europe in the late 16th century. Their arrival was met with awe. Their vibrant, almost painterly colors and remarkably unique patterns were unlike anything the European botanical world had ever witnessed. From the moment they touched Dutch soil, they rapidly transcended their botanical origins, swiftly becoming a coveted symbol of status and sophistication, gracing the meticulously cultivated gardens of the wealthiest merchants and aristocrats. But the story deepens with a rare and captivating twist. A peculiar, non-fatal plant virus, colloquially known as breaking. This virus didn't harm the flower. Instead, it orchestrated a miraculous transformation, creating stunning, variegated streaks and flame-like patterns on the petals. These broken tulips, with their unpredictable and unique beauty, were impossibly rare and consequently even more intensely desirable. Varieties like the famed Semper Augustus or the Admiral van der Eyck became the absolute pinnacle of horticultural desire. Initially, the trade in these precious bulbs adhered to rational, well-established principles. Avid collectors and discerning enthusiasts would meticulously select and purchase bulbs directly from trusted growers, primarily for the purpose of planting them and enjoying their ephemeral beauty. However, as the fervor for tulips intensified and demand began to soar, a subtle but profound shift occurred. People started acquiring bulbs not with the intention of planting them in their gardens, but purely to resell them within days or weeks for a quick speculative profit. The market, almost imperceptibly at first, began to decouple from the actual physical flowers. It transformed into a frenzied exchange of contracts for future bulbs, a piece of paper promising a future delivery, a promise that often changed hands multiple times before the bulb even saw the light of day. You no longer needed physical possession of the bulb. All that was required was the promise of one, the speculation of its future value. Prices began a slow, almost imperceptible ascent, then gathered terrifying momentum, exploding into a rapid vertical climb. A single bulb could change hands 10, 12, even 15 times in a single day, each transaction occurring at an ever-inflated, ever more optimistic price. This was a contagion of greed and optimism. Ordinary citizens swept up in the frenzy took drastic, life-altering risks. They mortgaged their family homes, poured their entire life savings into a handful of bulbs, and some even sold their established businesses, abandoning years of hard work, all to get in on the action. The pervasive, intoxicating belief was simple, yet utterly unfounded. Prices could only go up. Forever. By the first few weeks of February 1637, the collective madness of the Tulip Mania reached its absolute, terrifying zenith. Prices scaled truly astronomical heights, pushing the boundaries of what was conceivable. To put this into perspective, consider the economic reality of the time. An average skilled craftsman in the Netherlands earned a respectable but modest income of about 150 florins a year. Now juxtapose that with the insane valuations of a single tulip bulb. A solitary viceroy. Tulip bulb, considered moderately rare, was infamously exchanged for an astonishing assortment of livestock and provisions. 8 plump pigs, a dozen fat sheep, 2 sturdy oxen, 2 large casks of fine wine, 4 barrels of choice beer, 2 tons of rich butter, a hefty 1,000 pounds of cheese, a complete handcrafted bed, a bespoke suit of clothes, and even a gleaming silver drinking cup. That incredible haul represents nearly a full working farm and the entire contents of a modest house, all for one solitary flower bulb. The sheer absurdity is difficult to grasp. The legendary Semper Augustus bulb, the undisputed king of the tulips, was rumored to have traded for the staggering price of a grand, stately house in the prestigious city of Amsterdam, complete with its own meticulously manicured garden. Imagine that. Your entire home, your family's future, traded for a single, perishable flower. This wasn't merely speculation. It was a collective delusion, a desperate gamble where people were quite literally trading their livelihoods, their legacies, for a speculative, fleeting piece of dirt. The psychological grip of the mania was absolute, but as history relentlessly proves with all bubbles fueled purely by unrestrained, unadulterated speculation, detached entirely from any semblance of intrinsic value, reality inevitably came crashing down. There came a critical inflection point, an inevitable moment when the seemingly endless supply of new eager buyers simply ran out. The speculative chain could no longer be extended. Perhaps a few perceptive or simply lucky, prominent traders decided quietly to cash out their enormous paper profits, sensing the impending doom. Or perhaps for a fleeting moment, a glimmer of common sense managed to pierce through the thick fog of collective delusion. On February 3, 1637, during what was ostensibly a routine bulb auction in the city of Haarlem, a small, seemingly insignificant drop in price occurred. It was barely perceptible at first, a mere tremor, but it served as the terrifying catalyst, triggering a catastrophic cascade. A collective realization dawned. The music had stopped. Panic, raw and unbridled, set in. Those who had committed everything and bought at these impossibly inflated prices desperately, frantically tried to offload their bulbs, but now, chillingly, there were no buyers. The bids vanished. Prices didn't just fall, they plummeted, descending faster than they had ever risen, a vertiginous drop into financial oblivion. The collapse of the tulip mania was nothing short of brutal. Thousands of hard-earned fortunes, built on the shifting sands of speculative contracts, were utterly wiped out overnight. Countless ordinary citizens, from bakers to blacksmiths who had mortgaged their homes and invested every last guilder, were left utterly bankrupt, destitute, and facing unimaginable ruin. While some historical accounts, embellished over centuries, suggest the collapse decimated the entire Dutch economy, the truth is perhaps less apocalyptic. Much of the wealth wasn't destroyed but simply transferred from the late, desperate speculators to those who had cashed out earlier, or the original growers. However, the real enduring legacy was the profound psychological scarring inflicted upon a generation and the unmistakable, crystalline lesson learned. That pure, unadulterated speculation, severed entirely from any tangible intrinsic value, is fundamentally unsustainable. It's a stark, visceral reminder that the powerful, insidious forces of fear and greed, when unleashed, possess an uncanny ability to blind even the most rational, astute minds. The tulip mania, from our distant, more enlightened vantage point, appears almost comically absurd. Yet it offers chillingly precise parallels to countless modern financial bubbles that have scarred our own economic history. From the manic .com crash at the turn of the millennium, where internet companies with no revenue traded for billions, to the recent wild and volatile spikes and subsequent corrections in certain cryptocurrencies. It's not just a historical curiosity, it's a timeless, universal cautionary tale. The fundamental human tendency for herd mentality, for succumbing to the intoxicating belief in new paradigms, where the old rules no longer apply and prices can only ascend indefinitely, remains remarkably constant across centuries. It teaches us to cultivate a healthy skepticism, to diligently understand the true nature and value of what we are truly buying, and most critically, to possess the wisdom and courage to recognize when the price of something bears absolutely no relation to its actual underlying worth. What are your thoughts on this astonishing chapter of financial history? Do you believe those frantic traders were simply foolish, driven by an inherent flaw in human nature? Or were they unwitting victims caught in the relentless grip of an unprecedented societal craze? I'm eager to hear your perspectives, so please share your insights in the comments section below. If you found this deep dive into the fascinating and often bewildering world of financial history as captivating as I did, please do us a huge favor. Give this video a big thumbs up. It genuinely helps our channel reach more curious minds. And share it with a friend or family member who appreciates a good real-life drama, especially one with such profound lessons. Your incredible support is what empowers us to continue uncovering and revealing more of these truly incredible, bizarre, and often shocking stories from the archives of the market. And remember, the sprawling, complex world of finance is absolutely packed with countless mysteries, untold sagas, and invaluable lessons, all just waiting to be explored. So make absolutely sure you're subscribed to our channel and critically, hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the bizarre and often unsettling corners of the market. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next financial fable.